Welcome to the Nordic Wolf Podcast. I am your host, Eric Darris. Today we are jumping into the NBA free agency trade market. Obviously, a focus on the Lamelo Ball and the LeBron James news. That's kind of start the podcast. I do bring in David Christensen back. He is gonna get kind of his thoughts on some of these moves, and then we're just gonna go through a lot of the big free agency trades, things like that. Touch on kind of the future here of the podcast real quick. So there's been a lack of some podcasts recently. It's just been, the summer was crazy and there's not a lot of content. I need to get better at getting this content out to you guys faster. But as of now, still want to try and get out here once a week. Maybe 1 to 2 more podcasts of this week here. Of this season of basketball focus. We have summer league starting. I do want to watch all the summer league games, kind of get into that. But then we're going to start transitioning towards more NFL focus. Since I've been doing the Nordic Wolf stuff, there's been a lot less Viking stuff because I started after the Super Bowl. Kind of decided to do this right around the end of the football season and the playoffs and launched it about 2 weeks after the Super Bowl. So I'm excited to get into the football stuff and get going. But again, a lot of NBA stuff coming. So, I had a great conversation with David, and that is coming up next. Welcome back to the Nordic Wolf Podcast. I've got David Christensen here yet again. We're about a month and a half or a month into the full off season after the NBA finals. A lot has obviously changed as the NBA season really never stops. These last couple of weeks has been quite a change, especially for the Timberwolves. David, so how have you been lately?
Been very good. The summer's going fast, but can't complain. Had a couple good vacations, so been well relaxing. How about you?
Been good. Staying busy. A lot of off-season stuff to keep up with between this and then Viking stuff coming up. This is probably, I'm thinking, will be 1, maybe 2 more pods of more basketball focus before it jumps into more football focus here, as training camp is like 3 weeks away.
Yeah, I'm
So
excited to see the QB battle, even though I'm pretty sure Murray will win out, but you never know.
yeah, I would agree. I mean, if McCarthy wins that QB battle, it means he got a lot better, I think.
Which
So
is it would be a good sign, only a good sign if that
yeah,
somehow
I mean,
happened.
the best interest for the Vikings is that JJ won because he got a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Worst case
Yeah,
scenario is they're both bad.
yeah, and Murray's not going to be that bad, but you never
On a
know.
minimum contract, I mean, he's going to be a value, I think,
Yeah,
regardless.
I'm going to the training camp on August 9th. First time I'm going, so I'm excited for that. It's
Okay.
under the lights, I believe, so excited.
Yeah. I went to one, I think the first year they did it at TCO, but I didn't go to like a night practice. I went to a day practice and it was
Hot as fuck.
hot and they were just running drills. It wasn't like a scrimmage or
Yeah,
anything. So I
kind of
wouldn't
bold.
do that again, but I would definitely go to like a night practice where they're running legitimate plays and you kind of get to see just a glimpse into what the team's going to look like. But yeah, I mean, this was just guys running drills. That's not the most exciting thing, but maybe now where I'm trying to be a little more analytical and kind of study film, maybe I'd find it more interesting, but probably not. I mean, it's still
Yeah.
just practice. But anyways, different day, different time. We are jumping in. So I don't want to talk a lot about it, but obviously well, I guess we can start with the LaMelo trade because that will lead into LeBron. The Wolves traded for Lamelo Ball, giving up Naz Reid a 2031 or 2033 unprotected first round pick, 3 pick swaps, which I'm sure you've heard too, kind of meaningless. It just makes the
Mhm.
trade look bigger for Charlotte, and then some second round picks. It does pretty much clear out the Wolves for assets in terms of tradable draft picks. They really don't have anything through I believe, is it 2 years now before they'll get a tradable first again?
Yeah, something like that.
Yep. And so they don't have much. So this is kind of the team they're stuck with for at least a couple of years, unless you
Mhm.
start shedding talent, which this has gone very pear shaped if we are shedding talent in the next couple of years. So, what's your thoughts on that trade?
I'll give it a A. I woke up, I was in Vegas and woke up to the message from my brother, and I was so excited. Definitely gonna give it an A. I think it's gonna make Ant's life a lot easier. He's gonna be able to play more of that off ball position where LaMelo's gonna more run the show, but obviously Ant can run the show at times too, which he's gonna. It makes it impossible to double team Ant as well. Obviously, it sucks to lose out on Nas, but to me, losing out on Nas to get LaMelo was amazing. I didn't quite understand or realize how injured LaMelo has been. He's been a little more injured than I even realized because I didn't watch a lot of Hornets
Mhm.
basketball. But at the same time, I think some of the seasons was out longer because they were trying to lose more. That was
Yeah.
at least my opinion on the situation. I think heard others say that as well. The trade's also interesting because people are either really for it, like I've seen videos where people are like A plus, A plus, A plus, and then you see some of the big names out there who absolutely hate it, like Nick Wright and some others. So I don't know. I'm definitely very positive on it, though. How do you feel?
I'm with you on the positivity. I mean, it comes with risk, but
Mhm,
really, I mean, we did a podcast a month ago talking about all these, potential trade suitors for the Wolves. Neither of us even had LaMelo Ball on the board. I don't
mhm.
think
I didn't
either of
think you
us.
would be tradable. Like, I thought they were just gonna keep him after
No.
such a good year.
Yeah. And I think the character stuff is way overblown. I think people assume just because of LeVar Ball that it's just a circus when he comes to town and he's a head case in the
And
locker room.
he is a head well, and LeVar is a head case, but
LeVar
yeah,
is, but
LaMelo is not from what I hear.
no, LaMelo is actually, it seems like he's the furthest, most distant from his dad in terms of his dad really hasn't been involved in any of LaMelo's career. Once LaMelo got drafted, there hasn't been a whole lot of LeVar Ball. In fact, I don't think I've seen LeVar Ball do anything in public until like the last 2 weeks where he's been on his son's podcast and he's, trying to push his son, which neither of his sons are coming.
No.
Leangelo was terrible and he's hasn't been in the league in 3 years. And Lonzo's knees basically need full replacement. So neither of them are coming onto the
If his
team.
knee didn't need full replacement, he would still be in the NBA. He was a decent player.
Yeah, I mean, I would take if he was healthy, I would take him as a backup point
Mhm.
guard at this point. But Nas Reed, obviously, I've got a towel behind me. He was kind of the culture setter, I would say, for Minnesota, the kind of the resurgence of Minnesota basketball. So it sucks to lose him. And I don't think you just replace that chemistry that he had with Jaden right away. But in
Mhm.
terms of just a basketball fit, it to me can't be better. LaMelo is a top what 6 to 8 offensive engine in the NBA right now, I
Yeah,
would
I keep
say.
hearing that. I've never heard the word offensive engine or
Well,
the
because the Wolves
phrase.
haven't had an offensive engine for
Everyone's using that phrase now, then everyone else uses it, and I agree. It is a good phrase though for him. He is definitely an offensive engine.
yeah.
He's
I mean,
definitely. I
I've
mean,
heard
you could say last year he was top five. It's just he needs to
yeah.
consistently show it to put himself
Yeah, I
in with
mean,
top.
so, the positives that I think and this is what the Wolves really need to focus on because, outside of Nikola Jokic, who is by far the best passer in the NBA, LaMelo's in that next category with
Mhm.
Luka. Um, that's where I would say he is. I mean, he's a better passer than Shea Gilgeous-Alexander or Jalen
Yeah,
Williams or AJ Mitchell. I mean, he's a better point guard than those guys. Now, the downfall, he did have some bad shot selection last year for Charlotte where it's like, he has everyone talks about the half quarters at, you know, 18 seconds left on the shot clock and I mean, Ant does that all the time where he takes bad shots and double teams. but I think he also has not had a knockdown shooter like Anthony Edwards. I mean, Con Knipple was good, but he's not. I mean, Anthony Edwards shot 50% almost from open catch and shoot threes last year.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think LaMelo has never had the offensive talent. Jaden's a 40% catch and shoot 3-point shooter. Rudy, if you can learn to put some touch on the ball, can dunk the ball, can catch,
Mhm.
but you just can't put any zip on it. And that was the problem with Julius Randle. How many times do we see him throw a fastball at Rudy? And it's just like, well, that doesn't do you much good. I do think, obviously, the hole at power forward has now been um, become a bigger need. This is where
Mhm.
we get into the LeBron James thing of it. So, I mean, to me, LeBron at this point was still a top 20 player in the NBA last year. I don't know if he will be next year. He's going to be 42 years old. But if you're signing him on a minimum deal as a power forward, I think it makes complete sense. And you're an idiot if you don't think that the Wolves should at least explore it, especially on a minimum contract, because there's really no risk to bringing him in.
Mhm.
Now, I don't personally think he's actually going to end up signing here. I think he'll end up wanting some type of mid level exception, despite what they say, money not mattering. It shouldn't matter at that point because when he's already worth over $1 billion. So I don't really know the difference between 3 million and 15 million over the course of a year. But what's your thoughts with the LeBron situation?
Mhm. Well, I don't think he's gonna come to Minnesota because it's tough sledding. Like they need to get to the NBA Finals to take the next step. Does he really want all that heat? And I don't think he'd want to deal with the winters. Although I mean, he's from Akron or whatever, which is pretty cold. But I think it's gonna come down to him either going to Philly or Cleveland. I think with the Warriors, he's using to get more money or something. I just don't think he's gonna end up going there. Miami, maybe as well. Him and Giannis, you could definitely see that that could be a pretty good force there. But at the end of the day, I think he's going to end up in Cleveland, the highest chance going back home. I think he's going to like kind of having his last season, maybe last couple seasons in his home city, where it all started. But I could see Philly as well being a good option. I think he has some relationship with one of the managers there or whatever. So
Yeah.
I think those are the two options. If he did come to Minnesota, it would fulfill a need. I think it's probably the best situation he can go to. Philly's up there too, in my
Yeah.
from my perspective. I cannot believe they got Jalen Brown at
Yeah, and
that
we'll
cost.
we'll get into Jalen here in a bit. I so Philly, I would say, is definitely the second best. I mean, the thing that would make Minnesota not great as a basketball fit is it's still the West. You still have to go through likely San Antonio and Oklahoma City because I don't think we're the number one seed. Even if we do sign LeBron, I still think you end up in the 2 or 3 seed, really at best. So you're still going through both those teams to make it to the finals. There's going to be a transitioning period for the Wolves where it's not going to all click, especially whether you get LeBron or not. All these guys have to learn to play together. LaMelo and Ant have to learn to play together. There's going to be growing pains. But in terms of if LeBron wanted the best basketball fit, the best storyline where he could really help a team win a championship and get to the next level, I don't see how Minnesota isn't even the best option. I do think Philly's next. My only concern with Philly is Joel Embiid has never stayed healthy.
He's not the same player anymore. People are
No,
acting like he can go back to be that player he was during those MVP that MVP year and prior to that. I just don't see it. I think
yep,
he's just too big of an injury risk. I don't see it.
yep. And he doesn't give LeBron that safety net of a true rim stopping center that LeBron doesn't have to put in the same effort. Rudy is a much better defender at this point in his career than Joel Embiid. He stays healthy. He takes care of his body. He's just a giant upgrade on that. And on top of that, then you add Jaden McDaniels, which Philly does have. Jalen Brown is an excellent perimeter defender at the 3. But when you're surrounding yourself with those two talents, plus you have a more consistent true point guard in LaMelo, I think LeBron would kind of be your secondary offensive, ball handler.
Yeah.
Ant would kind of just totally play off the catch at that point because I don't want Ant ball handling over LaMelo or LeBron at this point. They're both much better decision makers when it comes to passing the ball. They're both better with handling double teams. I don't think you could double team us if we had LeBron all that much. So as a basketball fit, I just think Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecomb's still pretty unproven. He's still pretty raw. So I would just
Yeah, he
slightly
might have a
lean.
sophomore slump. He could easily.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I slightly lean the Wolves. I think the Cavs is a terrible basketball fit. I don't think he's going to have a whole lot of fun playing with Donovan Mitchell and James Harden controlling the ball
James Harden's
constantly.
not a winner.
No, and I don't think Donovan Mitchell is. I think that contract was an albatross. He just signed. I don't know why
Yeah.
they gave him
200 and whatever million. That's
70.
crazy.
Yeah,
4
he's making
years.
like over $60 million a year guaranteed over the next 4 years. Just in this salary cap era with the aprons, I think that's a severely limiting contract. I think that's going to go down as in 2 years, they're going to be desperate to get off that contract and they're not going to be able to because no team's going to take that on unless you're giving them significant draft capital, basically.
Yeah. And
But
Mobley hasn't taken the next step yet. People are saying, "Oh, he looks to be next Kevin Garnett." It's like, no.
no, but so I don't love the Cavs. The Heat to me is I struggle to see where the shooting's gonna come from if LeBron goes there. LeBron's not a good shooter at this point in his career in terms of what they need. They need guys that can knock down, you know, open catch and shoot threes. I think there'd be a giant spacing problem that they would have start to have. And I mean, they already are going to have it. Bam's a terrible 3-point shooter. He likes to take them, but he's going to be like a 30% 3-point shooter. Giannis can't shoot. But we'll get into that next year. So I don't want to jump too much into the Heat. And then the Warriors, and then the Warriors are to me would be if the Wolves did not get LeBron, I would like to see him at least go to the Warriors just because I think it would be interesting to see LeBron and Steph play together.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, but
They're not going to go anywhere. They're not going to
no.
win the finals.
They would lose in the first round, maybe get to the second round, but I doubt
Yeah,
it.
I mean, as a Wolves fan, I would not be excited. Like, I'd be a little nervous about playing those guys because they do still have very high upside. But I just don't see everybody holding up. I mean, it sounds like that move would be dependent on trading for AD. I mean, AD is not gonna make it through the season. Draymond is your third option. Don't love it. I mean, Jimmy Butler and LeBron to me don't work together, so they'd
Mm-mm.
have to
They're
move
they're they're
Jimmy at
kinda
that
similar
point.
in a way. I mean, they're
Yep.
different, but a little similar.
So, but that's kind of where we're at. Again, we could go on for I feel like 45 minutes talking LeBron scenarios, and I don't want to do
Yeah.
that. So I just kind of want to buzz through here. I've got 10 to 12 different moves outside of the Wolves. So we'll start with the Giannis trade. You know, Giannis for Clell Ware, Tyler Hero. Was Jacquez in there too?
I don't know about that. 2 firsts, right? 2 firsts?
Yeah. So picks, I don't really want to focus anyway on the Miami stuff or the Milwaukee side of it. They're in a full rebuild. There's not really much of a focus. They're an
Yeah.
Eastern Conference team. They're not going to be competitive at all. I will say it sounds like they rejected the Boston offer, which was circled around Jalen Brown, which it sounds like the hangup is they didn't want to move on from Hugo Gonzalez, which what they just traded Jalen Brown for, we'll get into later. But
Uh-huh.
I mean, this is to me was a trade where you're building for the future. You're trying to set things up. They had to trade Giannis. I mean, he
I think
wasn't.
Bucks did well. I think they
I
did
was
well.
getting so annoyed with people that Bucks fans were acting like they were an idiots for trading him. It's like you guys are going to lose him for nothing next year. He's not staying around. I think Giannis, he kind of rubbed me the wrong way the last like 2 years, where he talks about how he loves Milwaukee. He's never leaving, but then you hear reports that he wants out.
And he wasn't trying this year, I
Yeah,
heard.
and
Or he wasn't showing up to practice or something. I practices, and I don't
so
like that kind of stuff.
no, I think Giannis obviously is a fantastic player. He's when healthy, still probably top 5-ish. I
He's an
don't lean
offensive engine.
he is, but again, my
He's
my
a
biggest
tank.
problem with Giannis is he can't shoot.
No, he
Like,
can't shoot, and he's so injury prone at this point, and he's old. I mean, well, he's
yeah,
not old, but he's 32 or whatever, so he's
but
getting up
teams have
there.
figured out how to somewhat defend Giannis. So
You just
unless
pack the
you
paint,
yeah,
right?
you
Don't
pack
let
the
him get to
paint,
the hole.
you so to make Giannis effective, you have to have guys that are knockdown shooters. I
Duncan
don't like the
Robinson, right? Still have Duncan Robinson?
no, he Duncan Robinson's on Detroit.
Okay.
So they
Duh.
don't
The
Andrew
Wolves
Wiggins
have
is
no,
like their
yeah.
best shooter. So really to work with Giannis, you need to have like knockdown shooters. That's why I loved the Boston fit for him. I don't get not moving Hugo Gonzalez to make that move because Giannis just would create with Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard, Jason Tatum. These guys would just love the open shots they are going to get with Giannis. And now with Miami, Bam and Giannis, I don't know. I think their defense is going to be very good with I mean Wiggins is a high level perimeter defender, Giannis and Bam are going to be it's going to be really hard to drive on this team when when you're trying to drive the basket. They're probably going to be I think they might be the number 1 defense in the NBA next year,
They're gonna have to
but
grind out a lot of wins. It's kinda thinking back to, like, the '04 Timberwolves who were so good on defense
yeah.
and kinda clunky on offense in certain ways. I think, the Heat are gonna struggle on offense, and they're gonna have
Yeah.
to kind of, knock out opponents, from the defensive end.
Yeah, they added Tim Hardaway Jr.
Mhm. That was a nice pickup.
Nice ad. I'm glad he's out of Denver because he was Denver's best catch and shoot three-pointer, but again, I think we saw in the playoffs when you overwhelm him with some big physical defenders, he's not as effective. If you can basically limit him getting open, he's not I mean, he's a dangerous open catch and shoot three-point shooter. He can't really create offense on his own. He's not great off the dribble. He's not a great step back three-point shooter. He's a specialist. And so, with guys like Giannis and Bam, he will be able to get some open looks, especially when Giannis is driving. But I mean, he's a sixth man, so he's going to get what 20, 25 minutes a night. But I think you have to play him a lot with Giannis because he's not super effective if he's having to create his own offense. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be clunky this year. Maybe next year they can add a couple more shooters, but I think they're so strapped from a cap perspective that
yeah.
who knows what they're gonna be able to do.
Personally, I'm not a huge Bam fan in general. I think he's an overrated player.
What do you mean he had 80? What did he have, 80 some points last year?
Yeah. Yeah, he just took every shot for the team in the fourth quarter, basically.
I
Uh,
like Bam, but yeah, he's not like a great second player on a team. He's not gonna get you to a championship.
no.
And Giannis, if we're talking about Giannis 5 years ago, be a little bit of a different story, but at his age, his injury history, like you said, no shooters around him really. I
Mhm.
think it's gonna be tough sledding.
Yeah, so next trade then I guess I wanted to jump in. So Toronto Raptors are bringing back Kawhi Leonard
Mhm.
after 8 years to defend his title, I guess. They sent Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, unprotected first round pick in 2031 and 2033, a 2027 first round pick swap, and 2 second round picks here in 2030 and 2033. I really like this trade for both teams, honestly. I think the Clippers, it was time to move on from Kawhi. I mean, I
I don't
don't
like it for Toronto.
you don't?
No, I
You think they
just
gave up too much?
I think they gave up too much, and Kawhi had an excellent year last year. No injuries, really. I mean, very few.
Mhm.
I think he's gonna be ravaged with injuries again. It's just my thought. Those knees are just, I don't know. They're not good.
Yeah, I mean, that's you're playing with fire with that. If he stays healthy, I think he does give them that pairing with Scotty Barnes is going to be fantastic. They need a guy that can knock down shots, especially in the playoffs. They just didn't have any dependable shooting. The players giving up Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick. Brandon Ingram is
Ingram,
obviously
nah, nah. I mean, Ingram's a decent mid-range shooter, but whatever.
Kawhi Leonard's better than Ingram pretty much in every facet of
Grady Dick,
his
that's
game.
not great to lose him, but he's not like a great player. Obviously,
He
he's
didn't
a
play a
decent
role in the playoffs though for him.
yeah.
I
I
mean,
no,
he's
no. Grady Dick's decent. He's the worst player to give up than Brandon Ingram for sure.
yeah, but
How
obviously
many first round picks they give up to
two,
unprotected?
2031 and 2033, which
Unprotected.
yeah, those are really valuable because
Those
Kawhi's
are really
not going to be
valuable, man. I
around.
think the Clippers are going to end up winning this one for sure. And I
Yeah,
also wonder how motivated Kawhi is going to be next year. He did win a championship with Toronto in the past. There's a thought that, he's leaving LA and he's going to be super motivated, or maybe he won't be motivated at all because he has one of those personalities that you just don't know what he's thinking in his head. Uh, but I think it's going to go down as a very favorable trade for the Clippers in the end. It's just my thought.
yeah. I mean, in the East, I think this makes if Kawhi's healthy, this makes Toronto right in there with the Knicks, the
Philly,
Philly,
Miami will be somewhere in there, but
Indiana will be
yeah.
back with Halliburton.
Halliburton's back. Yeah, we'll see
So
how.
you know, but the East is also going to be a lot better this year. I've liked a lot of the moves in the East. I don't. There's no teams that I feel are on the level of Oklahoma City and or San Antonio, but they're going to have like 8 to 10 teams that are all going to be pretty competitive. I think that could potentially get that number one seed. But and Toronto, to me, they were a good team last year. Scotty Barnes is one of the better young prospects, I think.
Yeah, he's a tank.
Defensively, that perimeter defense between Scotty and Kawhi is going to be extremely high level. I know we both talked about being interested in Kawhi, but I think we both kind of landed on the injuries are a threat. It doesn't sound like he had any interest in re-signing here. Again, with Kawhi, it's always you just don't know what
Mhm.
he's really thinking.
Yeah,
But I mean, it sounds like he's planning on signing an extension.
he is. That's gonna
But
be a big money contract he's gonna get, and he's gonna be in his
yeah,
high 30s. And I understand what you're saying, like, what else can Toronto do? They're gonna
yeah,
sell a lot of tickets for sure. I mean, people are gonna be pumped up to have him back.
but he's
I
not
think
the
that
same
yeah.
guy that he was in
No.
2018. I mean,
No,
that
no.
was 90. So he'd have been 26 years old when they won the championship with him. There's a big difference between 26 and 35. And I mean, he was a top 8 player in the NBA last year.
Oh, absolutely was.
And when healthy, he's maybe the best two-way perimeter player in the NBA right now, I would say, where like offense and defense weighing them equally. He's an all NBA defensive level player, maybe Jaylen Brown, I guess, up there, but I think he's a better scorer than Jaylen Brown.
So
So,
last year he played 65 games, a year before that 37. Year before that was 68. So he's played a little more than I thought, actually, 52, 52. So he hasn't been quite as injured as I actually expected. So
but
we'll see.
again,
If he
I
doesn't get
agree with you.
injured, it could be a very good move for Toronto. I just think in the long run, the Clippers are gonna for sure win out with those unprotected picks. Because when those unprotected picks come into play, Kawhi is gonna be ancient and out of the NBA. So
Yeah, it's like those Warriors picks that they have right now, those 2031, 2033. Those are like the most valuable picks right now because everybody knows in 2 years the Warriors are gonna be asked.
or like the Thunder trade where they got Shea, where
Yeah,
they got a ton of first round capital for trading Paul George. Look how that worked out for them.
yeah.
Now, obviously, you know, they're not getting the Shea in the deal, Clippers, but just saying.
It's I mean, if you look back in the history of the NBA, trading out long-term first-round picks, usually the team that gets the picks wins the trade.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but not always. I mean, I think right now you'd have to the Rudy trade for the Wolves. I mean, I don't think it's been bad for the
Utah
Wolves.
just I don't wanna say Utah just won it, but what they got for Kessler was
Pretty
massive.
good. Yep.
Yeah, so
Yeah, let's just go right into that was I
sure.
had that coming up here. Walker Kessler move. That was obviously a big haul for Utah to get for Walker Kessler. I before this trade really liked Utah as a like potential for a 5 or 6 seed. Now I think they're more of a play-in team without Walker Kessler because, I mean, they've got a lot of talent. Do you like, is it Darren Peterson?
Yes, I really like him. He's my favorite player in the draft.
Yep.
But
So,
he's gonna be a rookie, so
yep.
obviously a very
Keontae
slim there,
George
but
is like my pick for kinda like emerging as a all NBA, not first team necessarily, but all NBA second or third team threat. I know we watched him last year against the Wolves pretty much kill us every time he played us. He is a really nice young player. If he turns into that type of player, then I would say Utah probably won that trade because they got Keontae George off of the Rudy
and then
Gobert.
got rid of Kessler for that big haul.
Yep. So, but again, I don't think the Wolves necessarily lost that trade either because
Without Rudy, we're not getting into the Western Conference Finals
no.
2 years, so
And you might be in a scenario where Ant's like, I want out. This team's going nowhere.
well, going just quickly, getting LaMelo, I think it's gonna work out, and I think that's gonna be the reason why we keep Ant. So,
Yeah. So, but let's just jump right into the Walker Kessler trade. I can pull that up here. I have that in my notes. They got Walker Kessler in a sign and trade for a unprotected first round pick in 2031 and 2033 and two first round pick swaps in 2028 and 2030. I don't like this for the Lakers unnecessarily.
I don't, but I understand their thought process because
Uh,
they're trying to build the Mavericks around Luka again, and I think Luka's gonna have a really, really good year, and I think the Lakers made the right decision getting out of the LeBron James business as well, but they gave up a lot for Kessler, man. So they
yeah,
better hope that he shows the potential that he showed last year in October, where he was really good before his
where he
injury.
played 5 games and that's all he played for the rest of
Yeah,
the year. That's the
he
concern with
was
Walker.
excellent though to start those this season, I'm just saying, but
Yeah.
they better hope that he's really good. Otherwise, the trade's gonna look really bad.
Yeah. So, I mean, on top of that, it's hard to really go into this without going into what the Lakers brought in. So, they shipped out LeBron, they shipped out Rui Hachimura, they lost Marcus Smart, and they're basically replacing that with, and then DeAndre Ayton. So it's
And they
Walker
lost that
Kessler,
the white shooter, I can't think of his name right now.
Sandro,
Yeah.
yep, Colin Sexton, and Quentin Grimes. Sandro Kalashimi, I think I don't, I struggle with his last name. It's,
No, I'm thinking of someone else for I can't think of him right now. Shit. Anyways,
yeah,
go on.
and then they just brought in Kevon Looney to be, replace Ayton as the backup center. Overall, I think, you just nailed it on the head. They're trying to build a team around Luka Doncic's strengths. They have, and then they re-signed Austin Reeves. I think as of right now, they are a worse team than they were last year. Like I said earlier, I think LeBron is still a top 20 player. I think if they could have had LeBron for a cheap mid-level exception, I think I would rather have LeBron than the mix of Colin Sexton and Quentin Grimes. Personally, I don't think those guys are particularly special. I think what LeBron gives them is a perimeter defender that they're going to be completely dependent on the rim protection with Walker Kessler. And we see Rudy get into this trouble with the Wolves when they're not playing uh, great perimeter defense when Jaden's having a game where he just doesn't have the effort and Rudy gets torched because he has to go help. So you can't just shut down the middle of the paint with Walker Kessler and hope your defense stays the same. I get what they're trying to do with building the Mavs up, but they're also a worse version of the Mavs at their best.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Sandro is not a nearly as talented as PJ Washington. I don't think Austin Reeves is as good as Kyrie. And I don't think Walker Kessler is proven enough to be better than what Daniel Gafford was or what's the other guy's name? It was Gafford and, who did their center
I
rotation.
know, I can't think of it either.
Uh, but either way, I actually think the Lakers probably took a step back. Luka gives you a pretty high
Derek
floor.
Lively, are you thinking of?
Derek Lively, yep.
Yeah.
Luka gives you a high floor. They're not going to be like a lottery team or anything like that. But again, I
No.
think they're somewhere in that 4 to 6 seed range with no, I mean, none of these moves have helped them get better to beat Oklahoma City. That's still a nightmare matchup for them. But I
I
mean,
have so much
Oklahoma
respect
City's pretty
for
much a night.
Luca, but I would have to agree with you overall. I think it's gonna be tough. Now Luca
Yeah,
might
Luka
have just
struggles
an
with the defense that they are going to push on you. And I mean, really,
yeah.
all the Thunder lost was Aaron Wiggins and Isaiah Joe, which neither of those guys really provide a whole lot on the defensive side of the ball. I don't, I do still think they're going to end up trading Lou Dort, but I
Yeah.
think they
Luca
can
and Reeves
withstand
are gonna be
losing Lou
Swiss
Dort.
cheese from a defensive perspective.
Yeah. So, all right, two more trades here to quickly. Jalen Brown, which we kind of touched on, Paul George, and what was it, 2 picks?
Mhm. Yeah, I have no
Pulling it up
clue what
here.
Boston was thinking. No one really understands what they were
No,
thinking.
so 2 first round picks, 2028 and 2031, and 2 second round picks. I mean, the 2028 first round pick is going to be pretty low value at this point. I don't expect Philly to fall off a cliff this fast. With the age of Philadelphia at this point, I don't even think a 2031 first round pick has a ton of value when you're talking Jalen Brown. The whole analytics thing kind of blew up. I think a lot of that is Boston trying to put out this narrative after the trade that Jalen Brown's not actually a good player.
Yeah.
And
Like with advanced analytics, right?
yeah,
And I haven't dug into that deeply, but I don't know. There might be some smoke to that fire, but I just I don't know.
I mean, anyone that I listen to, any high level NBA mind that is much smarter at understanding the game than I am has all said it's an insane trade.
Yeah. Bill
There's
Simmons
no,
was freaking
you
out.
know, now again, I don't think Boston maybe is done, but they take on the bad Paul George contract. I don't think they're a bad team, even if this is what they roll with. I think Paul George is still decent,
And I
but
think Tatum is really gonna be more like Jason
a
Tatum this year.
focal part, yeah. But I don't know. It was a weird trade. I was shocked that, I mean, it would be like us trading Jaden McDaniels to the Nuggets, basically, is kind of how I
Prior
would.
to LaMelo, if we would have got Jalen Brown, I would have been really excited.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would, but I wouldn't have been as excited as LaMelo. Like I'm picking LaMelo over
Yep.
Jalen Brown, and they wanted more from us for Jalen Brown, so
Yeah.
win-win
I
for the
mean,
Wolves. But
the risk that it runs is it's a lot of pretty strong personalities now in Philadelphia, um, with Brown, Embiid.
Brown's a little
Max,
surly.
yeah, Maxi can. Maxi is. I don't know. There's some weird parts that need to fit. I don't know what. I mean, they can't move VJ Edgecombe because they don't have any money. It's all tied up, and all these players. They're going to run into some contract stuff with these high level players, but I would guess once Embiid's contract's up, they're not going to stay in the Embiid business. I think they're
No.
going to look to move on from him. But again, their defense is Jalen Brown. They didn't lose Paul George is a great defender. Jalen Brown at this point is probably a more consistent defender. He doesn't space the floor out. They're not a great 3-point shooting team, I would say, at this point. I mean, Edgecombe is an okay catch and shoot, but he was streaky. Tyrese Maxey is not as super dependable 3-point shooter. So I think spacing could be a problem right now for them. But overall, to me, Philadelphia moves right into that pack. And then Boston, I do have a lot of high level respect for the organization. I think, like you said, they'll make it work. I still think they're a contender, but they have
Brilliant
some,
GM too,
yeah,
Danny. What's his name?
Brad Stevens.
Yes,
But,
brilliant. So
obviously to me, things went so south with Jalen Brown that they just needed to get rid of him.
yeah, with a brilliant GM making that decision too, Brad, see, it does make you wonder if they're, again, if Jalen isn't all what we've seen from him. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I have a hard time believing he's just bad.
No,
Like,
I don't think he's bad. I don't
but
think.
I mean,
And
there's
like you
some
said, I think he was cancerous, and they had to get rid of
yeah,
him. I just have a hard time believing they couldn't get something better than that. But I wasn't in the conversations they had, so I can't tell
yeah.
you.
I mean, had they gotten Giannis and had a Giannis and Tatum as their main, 2, I think they would be the best team in the East pretty significantly. Giannis was a much better fit for what Boston wanted to do, but, you know,
Also,
I
giving him up to another East Coast team that's, not too far away from you, I think in the same conference,
what's
that's
Boston and
risky.
Philly are
That's really risky. I figured they'd want to trade Jalen Brown to as far away as possible, given the Western Conference, and maybe they tried, and there was just no takers. I
yeah, I
don't know.
mean, to me, it would be like us making a big trade to give Denver Jaden. I know Jaden McDaniels is not nearly as good as Jalen Brown, but giving Denver all of a sudden this great defensive
That's
perimeter
crazy.
defender in Jaden McDaniels
Yeah, you never want to give up a player of Jalen Brown's magnitude to
to
a
compare.
rival. I mean,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
So one more trade. Ja Morant finally got traded to the Portland Trailblazers. This one sent Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray for Ja Morant. Kind of a mm,
I like it for Portland. I'm not a big John Morant fan,
no.
but what they gave up Jeremy Grant, who is just a terrible contract,
Yep.
and they gave up Chris Murray. They didn't give up any picks, right?
No. Isn't
So
isn't it
I like
crazy?
it for the Trailblazers because they're taking a risk or they're taking a chance that Ja might get his shit together. He might, be able to shoot above 32% from three or whatever the hell he did last year. He can't shoot
25.
threes. Yeah. 35, really?
25, I think it
25.
was.
Okay. So yeah. So I like it for the Trailblazers. Do I think John Morant is going to be like his old self again? No, he just lost his athleticism
Yeah.
somehow this early. I don't know how he lost it this quickly, but it's probably just all the off court shit. But I don't mind it for the Trailblazers. I think it's worth taking the risk. I don't think it's going to work out for them.
No.
But what do you think?
So, I mean, it's crazy going back. So 2022, Ant and Ja Morant was talking about, two future faces of the league and just to see where their careers have been and how lucky the Wolves are that they didn't get Ja Morant. That
And
would
John
be
Morant was not the reason they won that playoff series against us. I was at a
no,
couple
it's
of his
Jaren
games.
Jackson
He was not
Jr.
very good. It was Jaren Jackson and that little short arm shooter. Can't think of his name.
Um,
Bane.
Desmond Bain.
Dude, they
Yep.
were they were the reason why they won. It wasn't him. So I wasn't really that impressed with him. But yeah, he was an excellent player at that time,
Yeah,
obviously.
and he did. I mean, he did exploit and they were the best team at driving the rim that season. And
Mhm.
they probably played a big part in us getting Rudy Gobert because we were in that series, we could not stop anything at the rim. And that was, but Jaren Jackson Jr. then cleaned up on the offensive rebounds. And that's why we lost. It was actually very similar to the Spurs Knicks series where we were the better team, I think, throughout almost every single game, had a double digit lead in every game and blew it.
Yep.
But, where Ja Morant, and it's not just the on the court, it's all the off the court stuff that Memphis just got to the point where it's like, we need to get rid of him. And to get Jeremy Grant and uh, what's,
Chris Murray.
I can't
I
even
know.
remember
I
the,
he's so it's kind of just a pointless player, so you just
yeah.
forget his
And
name.
then no draft capital.
It's crazy.
I mean, they should have, in my mind, I thought they were crazy 2 years ago when stuff started coming out. It's like, you got to move him now.
Mhm.
And
They would have got more, certainly.
they would have gotten draft capital. They would have gotten everything.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, I was actually kind of getting on board with the Wolves going for him because again, it's like, what are you going to give up? I mean, for this, you probably could have gotten him for Julius Randle. I mean, I think Julius Randle is a better player than Jeremy Grant.
Well, yeah, I was kind of on board with John Morant coming here, but now that I realize what we got
Yep.
for what we had to give up for LaMelo, those worthless pick swaps, and that 2033, that hurts, and Nas hurt a little bit, but yeah,
Yep.
now I'm so happy we went the other
Well,
way, but at the time, I was feeling a little desperate, I'm not gonna lie there. There was
yeah.
some smoke to Ant not being happy, and I'm like, "This is some legit shit." Like,
Yep.
I don't care that Ant didn't say it. If Windhorst and some of these other guys are saying that, there's something there.
Someone from their camp is talking about how he's
His
interested on how to
friend
build
or
it, but
someone is saying something. So,
but I think as a again, don't need to go back too much into it, but LaMelo at this point, he's obviously a better shooter, but then in general, he's just a better decision maker on the court.
better
And
person.
yeah, I mean,
Not a
he
great driver, but
sounds like he's got a professional driver now. So,
exactly.
uh, but yeah, I mean, Ja's biggest superpower was his explosion to the hoop. And it doesn't even seem like he really does that anymore. I mean, that
No, he lost that. Honestly,
and
he got hit to the floor so often and got some injuries that
yeah.
it just
So
diminished his ability to do that. And he's probably who knows what he's doing off the court. He's probably fucking around and not
yeah,
caring that
and
much. But
so and the top two teams in the league have very excellent rim protection with the Thunder and the Spurs. So, his superpower is against Wemby is pretty much dead.
yeah,
And even against Chet, I mean, Chet's a excellent rim protecting power forward center or whatever he plays, So I don't really love the fit for us. I just think we got lucky and
we got
um
lucky.
on the
LaMelo
Portland
and
side,
Ant is going to make those matchups against the Spurs and the Thunder, but
yeah.
specifically the Spurs, much better for us.
So, yeah. I
We're
mean,
going to have
on the
more shooting.
Portland side of it, I mean, like you said, they didn't have to give up much. They gave up Jeremy
Yeah.
Grant, terrible contract. It's a clunky fit with Dame. Him and Denny play a very similar style where it's that drive and kick.
No defense,
So,
Dame.
yep, they got Drew Holiday, and then they got Shaden Sharp.
Well, I'm wondering who are they going to trade?
Yeah, I mean,
They're just going to keep all those players.
they've got too many guards. I don't think Dame's got a whole lot of value. I would look to move Scoot or Shaden Sharp or, um, obviously, I don't think you want to move on from Denny. I think he's got,
No, 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 no. He's the player you wouldn't move on from.
yeah, and they brought in Mike Nori, our, you know,
Getting
assistant to
paid like
figure this out.
$4.
It's a weird contract.
Mhm.
Everything's a little weird in Portland. But again, to get off a Jeremy Grant contract for John Morant,
I don't mind it for Portland.
you know,
I think it was a win for them overall.
yeah, I just like you say, I think they got to make some moves to improve their front court. They brought back Mark Williams, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So, they're
Pass
all
forwarder
right.
there.
You know, I think Nori's a pretty good coach and a very smart, schematic coach.
Very
I mean,
smart.
at this point, Dame is gonna just play the 2 guard, I would imagine, over the 1 then. He's just because he is your best open catch and shoot three-point shooter. I would guess Dame probably could have played near the end of last year, similar to, like, Tatum, but again, I would have just, not risked it and let him give it a go this year. But, yeah, that's enough on that kinda weird, bad trade. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We already went through one of them. About 6 quick free agents here. We don't need to spend a whole lot of time on them, but,
Sure.
most of these are gonna be either Wolves related or Western Conference related, or maybe guys that whether the Wolves could have been interested in. Rui Hachimura left the Lakers, going to the Clippers, 2 years, roughly 14,000,000, so essentially close to the mid-level exception, but it does not sound like it is an MLE. Um,
I would have loved him here, but obviously we
yeah,
don't have the money.
but again, at that contract, I don't people were kind of mad, like, oh, the Wolves missed out because they're waiting for LeBron. We were never getting $14 million
No.
dollars of salary. Can't
People
really
are
dump,
stupid. They don't understand the cap at all. They just think it's a fantasy
or
land
they
and you want
everybody thinks we can just dump Josh Green's salary, or they want to stretch it, which again, bad decision to stretch a contract like that. It's just, you know, it's an expiring deal that at some point in the next year you will probably be able to move off of. But at this point, teams aren't necessarily looking to take on salary to help of an expiring deal to get rid of a guy. So,
Mhm.
you know, maybe around the deadline, I think a team that maybe has a guy under contract for 3 years and they wanna move on from him, that's when you can move Josh Green for the expiring contract because they wanna free up cap space for the season, but at this point, everyone feels like they have a chance. It is a excellent one of the best open catch and shoot three-point shooters, which with this team would have been a perfect fit.
Yep.
He's a bad rebounder, he doesn't play great point of attack defense, so he's
It's funny you
definitely
mentioned that because I
a
never really thought about his deficiencies that much. I just
Yep,
whenever I watch the Lakers, I was like, "Oh, he's good on he is good on offense."
yep.
So, he's flashy and good on offense, but you don't think about the other side of things, like,
No,
he's just shit on
so
defense and whatever else, but
yeah, I mean, I liked him as I mean,
he
but
would have fit
again,
in
my
well with the team because he would have defenders around him. It would have worked out here, but we didn't have the money, so
no, and I mean, my hope was maybe teams would run out of money before he gets signed, and then he's just looking for a deal to start.
right.
But that was a big one. Next one, Tobias Harris went to the Spurs. Um,
I like that for the Spurs.
I do. I don't think they should start him. I know a lot of people thought, oh, well, there's your starting power forward. I don't
Continue
really
with
know if the Spurs are
the
gonna
3 guards. Um,
yeah, so 2
yeah,
years, 31,000,000. They've got the cap space here for a couple of years. I mean, I still think if I were them, I would have tried to get out of the De'Aaron Fox business this offseason when I don't think it would have costed a pick. Um, but I don't think they were gonna I didn't think they would actually do that. I don't know. I think they have to start Dylan Harper next year. I don't know how you can not start him,
yeah,
but you can't
exactly.
bench Castle. You can't bench Fox at his contract.
No, that's what I'm
So I
saying,
think
a 3
yeah, it'll
guard
be a
would be good.
3 guard thing, and then I
With
think you
Wimby, but who's that who's the 5th? Who am I
Vassell or
missing?
Champagny are gonna move to the bench.
Yeah, yeah.
I think Vassell is who you move to the bench, but either way, Wemby gives you kind of like an extra player on the court on defense, an extra
Yeah,
big
pretty much.
basically. So you can run with 4 guards even if it is Vassell. Champagny just gives you that perfect
Excellent three-point shooter.
yeah. Vassell is obvious to me. Vassell is a great guy off the bench. Any of those guys are going to get a lot of minutes. I just think it could get a little weird for one of like none of those guys are going to want to go to the bench. I don't think, but
But I think Tobias Harris has made them better at the end of
yep.
the day.
And I think he gives them another big. They struggled last year, obviously in the Cornet minutes, which Cornet should be back. I think you need another big to go with Cornet
He's a nice
and
backup big for sure.
gives you some open 3-point shooting capability. He's streaky, but at this point in his contract, I mean, or in his career, I think it's a better fit for him to be with a team with just a bunch of shooters. I mean, he was Detroit's probably best or one of their better shooters, which isn't a good thing if he's one of your better shooters. John Collins was another Wolf that I think a lot of people again thought that was just going to be available for the Wolves on a minimum deal. That he went to Detroit. I think he again similar to Tobias Harris. I think he's a better fit for Detroit. They needed shooters to help Cade. Tobias was not a consistent enough shooter. John Collins gives them that. He doesn't give you as good a defense as Tobias Harris is going to. But again, with Detroit, I don't think they don't need a defender at power forward. They need a guy that can hit shots. So,
Well, now they want Durant too, right?
yeah, potentially KD. I don't know if that's going to happen, but
Yeah. If I was the Rockets, I'd wanna get off of KD if I could.
absolutely. You could probably get
Mhm.
him to overpay at this point for KD.
Yeah.
But I think John Collins fits. He's not a great defender. But Azar Thompson, Jalen Duren, who I both think
I think it was
will
a fine contract overall, fine
yeah.
sign. Yeah.
So another kind of guy on the Wolves. And then we talked Tim Hardaway already when we went into the Heat. Marcus Smart left the Lakers, went to the Rockets. 1 year tax mid-level exception, so $6 million for Marcus Smart. I actually think that's a pretty good value. He was pretty dang good for the Lakers in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, some
Uh,
people think the Rockets are gonna be excellent this year with, the point guard coming back
Fred
and
VanVleet, yeah, they're going to be
yeah,
better.
VanVleet, Marcus Smart.
I don't. I still think if they trade Durant, they're going to be in the same problem they were 2 years ago, though, where they don't have any shooters. But
Yeah,
Van Vliet will help them in the half court. Their half court offense last year was abysmal, but
yeah.
they're not ready to beat the Thunder or the Spurs.
No, not at all. They're not gonna be as
So,
good as the Wolves either.
so, and then two more deals. These were guys that left the Wolves. Mike Conley going and Kyle Anderson. Mike Conley of the Celtics, Kyle Anderson to the Raptors. Both were, I thought they'd honestly both be back at the end of the year. I didn't really think anyone else would be interested. Sounded like Conley kind of saw the writing on the wall that he was going to be, with Bones Highland resigning, he was probably going to have limited minutes. And I don't think he wanted to play the Joe Ingles role of just sitting on the bench.
No, he wants to play a little bit, which I understand.
Yep. And Kyle Anderson, I mean, I thought he would maybe be back, but just seeing where we're at with our roster, I don't think there was much of a spot for Kyle
Well, the
Anderson. With
Kyle Anderson role was essentially nothing, right, in the
yeah,
playoffs.
no,
So,
yeah, he didn't
he
play.
didn't
He can't
play.
shoot.
I was surprised how little he played for us actually when he came back,
Yeah,
but I think he was probably a little surprised by that, so I think it was a good move for him to move on.
yeah. So, all right, well, that's all I have. Thanks for coming on today.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
excited for summer league. I'm excited to see Baron J play.
yeah,
Really
I'm.
excited.
I,
Zakarsky
uh,
excited to see Evans, and
are
I
you gonna
think their
watch all
game
the
is on
games?
Thursday.
Starts on Thursday. Are you gonna
Yeah.
watch all the games or?
Oh, I mean, I'll certainly watch them if I can. Sometimes the
Yeah, I'm
summer
gonna
league,
record them.
I'll record it exactly because
I don't
they
really
have the afternoon games on sometimes, right?
yeah, and truthfully, I don't care if I know the like, I'm not watching it to care if like, I could care
No,
less win or lose. I just wanna see some of these young guys, obviously,
I
and
think
like I
Baron
said,
J is going to be a legit player. I
yeah,
really
I
do.
agree. So, um, but like I said, yeah, I'm probably gonna do one more of these, more basketball related. Depends kinda on what's gonna happen here with LeBron. That's gonna be obviously a big domino to fall. Otherwise, for the Wolves, there's probably not a whole lot more news to come out until the season starts. I mean, you're gonna fill if LeBron doesn't come here, you're gonna fill with like a random port power forward. I guess my favorite would be like Gershon Yabusele or something,
I
but
haven't even
he
thought about, they brought in Trey Lyles, which was fine. But I don't think LeBron's coming here at all. So I'm just kind of, you know,
yeah.
I hear some heat, like he's considering it. I just don't see it.
We all know LeBron likes to dramatize things out. I think he's known his decision from the moment he left.
Yeah, like you said, it's going to most likely be
I mean,
Cleveland.
just hearing things like he's not actually going to meet with any teams tells
He's
you
letting
he
Rich
knows.
Paul handle all that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but all right, David. Well, thanks for joining, and thanks to anyone that viewed it, and we'll be back soon.
Thank you.